So hi everyone, so I'm Julien. We are at the live session number 5 of the ChatGPT for cybersecurity. So happily we are all cybersecurity professionals and extremely motivated to use ChatGPT for our need. Especially today it's about productivity automation. And we have the chance to also have Bart with us that will talk more about how to restructure a bit more our community. So nice to see you, Bart and Shail. And let's immediately start. Yeah, let's immediately start with the agenda. Increasing productivity with AI. So how can you pronounce your name? Shailendra Singh Parihar. How can you tell?
Yeah, that's right. So you can call me Shell. Shell is fine, or Shailendra. So that's my first name.
Great, great. And you are not based in India, you are based in UK.
Yeah, I'm based in UK.
Great. And so we have the updates of the Notion group or the collaborative tool we started with Bart that is based in Netherlands. Am I right?
Yes, I mean,
right. Okay, so I will talk about the phishing campaign, the advanced automation with ChatGPT. The idea is to give a few dates about some bugs we fixed and how it's possible to continue to going deeper in that topic. And I'm CEO of RALFKAIROS based in South Korea. Okay, our time is not very long, so we can start. We're increasing productivity with AI. Shail, do you want to share your screen to start this topic and explain
Yeah,
you how?
I will share my screen. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right. So hope everyone can see my screen.
Yes, but we are focused on the Windows screen, so now it's going better. And if you can maybe put it as a full screen, it could be great.
Okay, so let me put this as a full screen. Is this okay?
Yeah, you can start.
All right. So hi everyone. Hope everyone's fine. Good afternoon and good evening. I'm Shailendra, and I'm the cybersecurity consultant, specially focused on vulnerability management and PAM for SAP security. But then the session that I'm going to give you is a generic one, and everyone can benefit from this session. So it's basically focused on increasing the productivity with AI. With all our tools that we are generally using in day-to-day lives. So let's start with it. The content of the presentation are AI applications as Chrome extensions. ChatGPT Writer is one of the extensions that we are going to use. It's an email assistant. Then we have YouTube transcripts and summary, which we will discuss. We have ChatGPT for search engine that we'll be discussing, the web plugin. ChatSonic, another application which is a good alternative of the ChatGPT. Then we have the Flow GPT and ChatGPT Prompt Genius, which would help us to create very good prompts for the ChatGPT. So let's get started with this presentation. AI applications as Chrome extensions. So basically, Chrome extensions are the powerful tools which actually add the additional capability in the Chrome browsers, and they dramatically increase the productivity of the tools that we frequently use. So the first tool that we are going to use here is the ChatGPT Writer. It's an email assistant which can be used. So let me just show an example of how this ChatGPT Writer can be used. Let me go to the mailbox. All right. So if you can see my screen, what we can do is, let me just go for searching this ChatGPT Writer in my Google. So you can just search this ChatGPT Writer in the Google, and then you can just go into the exact exact page of GPT Writer, and you can download this installation and install this. Um, you can see that more than 100,000 users are already using this. So there's a disclaimer that while before installing any plugin, we should be aware of whether it's a trusted plugin or not. So and also we should take care that we do not enter any personal information or any kind of company information that we are working for in these plugins, so that we are safe. Now for giving a demo of this plugin, what I will do is, I have already installed this. You can also install this in your Chrome browser and go to your mailbox. So once you go into your mailbox, you will see a small icon here, Chat GPT Writer. Now if you click on this, it will automate your mail writing. Now suppose for example, you want to write a mail for salary negotiation. You just give a heading there and click on generate the email. Yeah, it's required to log into this system. Just give me a moment. Okay, now I'm logged in there, and if I click there, so it will start generating this email for the salary negotiation of a job offer that you are having or something. Or if you want to initiate an email, like any kind of mail, like I want to join a company for applicate for applying for a job profile. So you can just generate this email. So these are beautifully crafted emails by this plugin, and you can see that it's very professional. And all you need to do is you can just go through the content of this mail and replace the names here, like dear manager's name or whatever it is. So you can just do that and insert the generated response here. So you can see that it has written the complete mail for me, and I just need to change the name and all the specific details, and I just need to send it. Suppose, and this time I've just sent it to myself. Now if you get a response for this mail, and if you're just trying to reply to it, so what happens is, if you want to reply to an incoming email, that also you can just specify here, and you can just reply to it. Like just give it a heading, like if you've got a email from someone for the salary negotiation and you are the manager, you can just reply that, accept the offer for 40K GBP. You just have to get the give the instructions to it, and it smoothly generates the complete mail for you. So this was one example of writing an email through the ChatGPT extension and replying to an email automatically. You just need to monitor what kind of thing it is replying, and finally you have a very well crafted professional email, and you just send it. So that's how you improve the productivity in your mail processes. You can just automate all your emails. So that was one example of it. Now let's go to the next tool, which is YouTube transcriptions and summary. So the second most used tool for us in our daily lives is the YouTube. Now if I just go into this link, that is the YouTube transcript, what this tool does is this tool actually generates the transcripts for the YouTube videos. Suppose I have a YouTube video. YouTube.com. For example, this is the YouTube video which I want to play. and I want the transcripts for this video. So how it works is it will give all the text. It will convert this video into the text. And if we click on auto scroll and start playing this video, so you can see that the text is getting generated and it gets scrolled as the video progresses. So this greatly saves your time if you want to find specific word or specific thing that you want to watch. So suppose the video is for an hour and you just want to go on to the main topics here. You can just check for those words and you can just navigate through it, and you find the important things that are there in video, and you can just see this video without spending the complete time of yours on this video. So that is how this also increases our productivity, and it actually shortens our time that we spend on YouTube and gives us the maximum benefit. So that was the second tool that I wanted to demonstrate. The third one would be how to use these extensions with different search engines. So if you go to chatonai.org, or if you search specifically for the web extensions, web plugins for the search engine, you'll find those web plugins in your search result. And for example, web plugin for ChatGPT. So again, you can see that these kind of extensions are available. And when you install these extensions and when you go into the google.com and search for anything like Python step by step, so what you get is a small window here, ChatGPT, which actually augments all the searches that are present here, and it actually gives you all the details here based on the web. So in this way, we can use the web capability of the ChatGPT. I mean, the ChatGPT itself does not look for the web, but then these extensions would actually search the web search result and give a summary through the ChatGPT application. And we can see here that this actually includes all the search results here. Another example here, you can see here like ChatGPT, OpenAI chat. You can see here that it gives you the search on web here, and this is an add-on which is added here. And if you click on the search on web and put anything like Elon Musk and search for it, so you actually get all the details here. See, you can see here that all the reference links are getting listed out here, and it uses these references while giving you a summary. So just a moment. You can see that it's generating this response using these references and using the capability of internet to give you the results. So this is really good, and we get to use the web capability along with the ChatGPT. So that was about the web searches. And then, okay, this is what I've covered here about the web searches, which is here. Now there is a limitation. There is a limitation even when we use the web chat GPT with the web results, but still it will give you the results only till 2021. Excuse me. So for that, we have another option, that is ChatSonic, AI with internet results. So what ChatSonic does is it actually takes the latest result from the web and it gives you all the AI, all the outputs through the AI generated text. So you can see here, I'll give you an example here for the ChatSonic. If I go to the ChatSonic here, Sonic, a GPT alternative with the superpowers, and I start chatting here. So this will take all the real-time data from the net and then give you the results in the form of AI output. I'll have to register here. All right, I'm into it. Say if I'm asking like S&P 500 value today. So it'll give you the exact S&P 500 value. Just a moment. Templates, Chat Sonic, like ChatGPT. Yeah, I should go here. Yeah, the only limitation here is you can do a maximum of 25 chats, and after that, it's a premium one. So it'll give you all the description, and it is giving you the exact value here. You can see the real-time data it is giving, 4069.15 on the date of 11th of February. So it gives you the real-time data, and it's a very good alternative to ChatGPT if you want to go for the real-time data. The next one is, I would try to wind it up very soon due to the time limitation. The next tool that we have is the Flow GPT. So the Flow GPT is one of the tools which is very good, and you can see the trending prompts here. So if I go into Flow GPT, I can see these are the trending prompts. If I go into one of them, it will just give me the trending prompt, and I can find out the required prompt, like resume writing. I want to edit my resume. I want ChatGPT to give me a proper resume. The prompt is already here. It's ready-made, and it can be used. You can try this prompt, and there you go. So it actually gives you all the details. Please provide me your current resume and it'll begin my review. So you can just provide your resume and it'll review your resume, and finally it'll generate a very good crafted resume. Someone was asking about the academic essay or scientific paper recently in the chat. So we can see that it has got the prompt for that specific case also, research paper summary. So if you want to write a research paper summary, you will have to use this prompt and provide your inputs, and it would give you a very good research paper once you provide all the details. So these are some of the very good uses of some of the extensions. ChatGPT Prompt Genius is another plugin which you can use, and you can just find out the most used prompts, and you can use those prompts to get the best result out of the ChatGPT. I have already installed this prompt, ChatGPT prompt. Prompt Genius. Yeah, you can see here. You can see here that you have many commands here, many curated prompt related templates. You can search for the kind of template that you want, and you can use these resources to make your ChatGPT perform according to what you want. So that is really it. And if you have some queries, you can ask from me. These were some of the tools that I actually used, and I just wanted to share with you. So you have any queries, you can ask, and then that's the end of my session.
Thank you very, very much. Really
Thank you, Shail. You can see, thanks to your presentation, we can see there are many use cases, or let's say enhancements we can provide to ChatGPT, because there are some limitations. and having the best prompts is super useful. Increasing the capacity to discuss with ChatGPT. So I think everyone will find, thanks to your presentation, the best use case for his own experience. So if some people have some questions, it's a good moment. Or any cases, any ideas you want to share? Yeah, please, Indrina.
Yeah, I'm Indrani Padaras. Yes, I have a question. I joined a bit late. So, did you already discuss the cybersecurity features of ChatGPT?
No, Indrani, it is a generic topic from me. Maybe Julien, while going ahead with this meeting, he would just put in all the use cases for the cybersecurity. It was just for the generic tools from my side.
Okay, thank you, sir.
No worries, thank you.
Because if I can may add something, since it's our 5th session about ChatGPT, we have already tried a lot of diverse, let's say, use cases or any, and we can see that the example of ChatGPT use case for RedTeam, for example, it's more about snippet. You can check some code, we can create some little piece of code, or we can check vulnerabilities in some little pieces of code. For GRC, it's possible, and we had that with Mukesh. I think it was one of the first explanation. It's possible to identify a few paragraph or access to some of NIST document, but it's still the problem of how to update it. And today, thanks to Shail, we can see that there is a way to get some updates thanks to those plugins. If you are just thinking, okay, I'm working in cybersecurity, I want to have the last information about NIST frameworks, you can't do it from now with ChatGPT without any extension. And even with extension, it's good, it's helping. You can get access to websites, you can have some little kind of automatic parsing. But if you dig a lot, you can see that it can be good for abstracts. But if you want to have a detailed explanation, I don't know, Shail, what do you think about that when you try to use the extension? How do you manage? What's the benefits?
Yeah, extensions add to your capability actually, because ChatGPT would work only on the prompts. If we don't know how to write the correct prompts, it might not be very useful for us. So by referring to these kind of plugins and these kind of forums, we would master the prompts, and hopefully it should answer everything that we want.
Yeah, that's clear. I hope you have your answer, Indrani. We have
Yes, thank you. I think there are some question in the chat. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. One question from Machine. Maybe Shail, if you want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Already some experience.
So, yeah. I have a question in terms of our search used with ChatGPT bots. There are some privacy concerns in terms of results from lookup search plus review. Do you have anything to advise? What type of approach should a company undertake to prevent certain information from being uploaded to ChatGPT? Or is there no way to stop sharing the collated research? So the first thing is that my suggestion would be not to use the company data for this ChatGPT. Not only company data, your personal data also. Maybe after a few days, because I was reading an article where Microsoft will be releasing its AI capability for for the company specific use. So that is called as bring your data. So what will happen is they will release their AI capability for each company, and the companies are going to build their own chat GPTs with their knowledge base. So at that point in time, then if you want to ask something from the company's own chat GPT, you can do it that. So that is what is going to be the future. And but for now, I think you can use ChatGPT for generic things. I would suggest not to upload or not to feed in any company or personal data into the ChatGPT.
Thank you for your answer, Shail. On my side, I have also asked the same question to some companies that were really worried, that were worrying a lot about ChatGPT impact about the privacy. And nowadays, they think that they are less, or as it is not easy to import lots of content, like some companies were mentioning, we have RFPs and we want to summarize our RFP, request for proposal. And this was typically a private topic, super difficult, super dangerous. And the conclusion was for them, as we can just import pieces, part of those RFP, finally, the people will use more ChatGPT on a local use. It means that you have a piece of text or something that you want to generate, you want a piece of code, you want a piece of rule or summary, but for full documents, you will not use it from what I know. So they consider that it's a little more risky as we are not able to interact fully. And the second aspect that was mentioned at the last time from our previous Avinesh speaker was everything is not true. So if you think it's like magic, you can put all your content and automatically get the best summary and so on with a very specific aspect to your business, that's not that easy. So you have to define by yourself, what do I need to generate? And that's why today we have this discussion about productivity, thanks to Shail, because we need, as cyber professionals, to reuse the maximum of what ChatGPT can give us. And but it cannot be like, for example, creating a full malware if people want to generate a payload. Part of it is possible. Saving time to generate our customer templates also is possible. Creating a few scripts, we saw it on with Rajiv, the first live session. Create automatic scripting tools. It's still possible, but there are some limitations, like a few thousand of characters that you can generate. If you want to have a longer answer, you cannot do it. So that's a few of my feedback. If someone wants to add something, please do.
Yeah, I would like to add something. Of course, it's important to write the correct prompts, but I also think it's important to check the answer. At this moment, I was testing a little bit with different languages, asking one question and seeing the results in different languages. And I have an example now where in Dutch, they say the story is true, and in English, they say the story is false. So it's the same question, only asking it in a different language, the result might be different. So I still believe we really have to take care for also with the results.
Great.
Excellent feedback. Yeah, agree. Me, for some French sentences, it's better to start to work in English and maybe reuse it with other tools to have the full translation. It's not bad, but they don't have maybe enough data in the language of my country. Same for Korea or some aspects. So we need to take care about the language translation. You cannot say, hey, I can just put a copy and paste and everything will be excellent.
No, but it's also different because I think that ChatGPT, for example, what I noticed was looking for tweets. So it's looking for English tweets for an English answer, and it's looking for Dutch tweets for a Dutch answer. So yeah, the results might be different anyway every time.
All right. Yeah, I think we have two questions here in the chat. I'll try to quickly answer them. How much ChatGPT will help for vulnerability findings like payloads? Okay, so we don't want to put our system data into ChatGPT and then ask it to analyze a vulnerability scan. What we can do is we can use our understanding, like for example, in some of the systems, say in SAP system, there are some SAP parameters which, if not put correctly, they are a risk. So what we can do is we can obfuscate that data, and what we can do is we can just check the values in the table, try to put those values from our system to the ChatGPT, ensuring that we don't put the system specific value So we can ask them about the parameters. Is this parameter safe? How we can fix it? So that much ChatGPT can help in a vulnerability assessment if we give it a specific input, and that input which does not contain the company data. I think that can be one way of finding the vulnerability in the system.
Also, to add something about that, there are now, so when I say now, it means from 1 month, let's say end of December and today, many restrictions are applied also to ChatGPT, but some hackers were able to break them. I just shared an example of what is a new trend, how to break some limitations of ChatGPT and to get, it can be payload or it can be phishing emails and so on. So there are some ways to get more than what we expect when we just use ChatGPT as a normal user. I just encourage you to have a look.
Yeah. Thank you, Julien. We will check this link.
Yeah. Do we want to add something, Shail, or we can move to Bart's presentation?
Yeah, that's it. One last question was about the privacy and security, so which has already been answered. I think we've already talked a lot about this. So that's it. We can move ahead.
Okay. Thank you for your time, Shail, for the presentation. It's super good to see that productivity can be really enhanced thanks to your feedback.
No problem. Thank you very much.
And thank you. So let's move to Bart's word. Okay, Bart, mic is for you.
Okay, thank you very much, Julien and Shailendra. Thank you very much for your information. Now I will start to talk about a little bit about the collaboration. We are now in a group with 400 people in WhatsApp and now like 20 people in the live session. And we've been talking this week with some people and wondering, okay, how do we want to share the information? For this, we created like a note for Notion, a workspace where we can add the data, we can do researches, we can talk about these subjects. So this is one of example of the collaborative tool which we might be using. And as you see on the left side, yeah, it's just in general, it's a workspace which is based on researchers. So I believe that instead of just sending information to WhatsApp or doing some demos in the live show, I think we have to gather this information and try to make researches where we can make all give input for this research. If you think about, okay, what kind of researches we can do within a group which are specialists from all over the world, I think the best way to do research is to do this in teams. So everybody's having a specialism, and based on the specialism, you can be part of a team, and within this team, you can start doing researches. So like this, you have a group of people, you learn to know each other, you can share information, and every time getting more deeper, yeah, better results for your researchers. So that's a little bit the idea. So that's also how the workspace is a little bit configured. So you have people, which can be all of us. We are in teams, and those teams are doing different researches. Now here you see a couple of those researches. At this moment, we are doing the configuration. Another research could be talking about the data sets which are being used by ChatGPT or the new ones. Another research could be yeah, to create better responses from ChatGPT, as we saw today, or what are the limits, or one of the researches is best prompts, for example. So all this kind of basic researches within this workspace, we can just add all the information we have from WhatsApp or from LinkedIn. We can just dump within such a research. So like this, we can get the information. and yeah, see how we can improve our work and get more qualified information, and also find better answers for the questions I saw today. So this is more or less the way we would like to work, or this would be a possibility to work and to create more quality. This is, for example, a way how we can share our information. I just told you, okay, we have research which is based, which could be the research of biased and non-biased data. For example, we can share this information with you, this URL we will check, and you can comment on it with examples. So we can get back with, we can collect those examples and we can put them in this research, and then we can continue talking about it. So this could be a practical way of working with it, and I will send you this link later on in the WhatsApp, and then we can see how it works. I believe that if you, I was working on this, talking with some people, and some people mentioned to me that they were a little bit afraid to share data because they have high qualified data, and of course they want to share it, but they don't want other people to misuse this information, or yeah, they just receive information and not giving anything back. So I think we have to discuss also about this this subject, how in which level do we want to share information, and how can we make sure that if we share confidential information or important information, how we know that this information will be used in the proper way. So this is more or less what we talk about with the workspace. This is what we can work out and manage for the whole team. I think it could be very interesting. I think this way we can really learn a lot of ChatGPT and other systems, and we can improve our knowledge. The only question is, okay, in which level do we want to do this? So maybe that's a good moment to talk about this subject, Julien, and see what
Thank you, Bart. So Bart is supporting our community a lot. He's spending a lot of time to structure, as you can see. It's a lot of work to organize information, to receive it, and to start to talk with people. So privacy of the information is super important, for sure. We cannot share some kind of secret topics with everyone, but we need you to give us some input. We need you in the community. Here we have around 20 people that decided to join us. It's important for us to see, okay, you are already working on some topics, and even if you maybe don't want to share directly all the content, it's still good if you contact us to say, okay, this is the kind of the title or the description of what I'm working on. I don't want to share it maybe publicly, but I really want to work with some people that are doing kind of the same. And the trying of our community is we can make the people work together in small groups if they don't want to share it fully. So we try this idea of Notion, and I really say I'm very grateful to Bart for that. It's one possibility. There are some policies to make it more private. If you are more interested to discuss privately of your concern because you are spending lots of time in some specific prompts, let us know. Contact Bart or contact myself, and we will try to see how we can help you to become more efficient, to look for your own prompts that you can use in your daily work. I think what we can say. So we are totally. So if some people want to now give us some feedback, Bart and I would be super happy to give some answers. So you can contact us by private message if you prefer.
Yeah, and I'm a sailor. I've been doing racing on the sea for 25 years. And if you talk about sailing and about the best sailors in the world, they are all French. And that's very funny. And not because they are French, but they live in France. And why do they live there? There is one big university of sailors, and all the best sailors of the world, they go there and they sail together. But when they are racing, they race against each other. So there you have the nice fine mixture of giving information, keeping information, but also receiving information. And the way they created this, it's already there for a lot of time, 10 years, for decades. And yeah, it's really nice to see how this kind of information, how they can grow. And every time they're getting better. And yeah, that's the French way of saying it. That's nice to see. And we can all learn a lot of that, I believe.
Thank you, Bart, again, for this nice presentation. You have still the link of the previous PPT Excel sheet. And so please contact us, and we can also share the link to get access to the content and give you some feedback. Let's now maybe move. We have just 30 minutes remaining to our next topic. Automation, part 2 for ChatGPT. So if you remember what was our topic last time, we wanted to generate a kind of automation phishing campaign. The objective is to has some tools, very advanced, of course, like now before companies are able to offer to any client to handle the creation of massive content for phishing, about phishing, to send to the internal employees of some companies, and then after to see who will fail and will click on this terrible link that will maybe automatically download malware or get access to his data. So there's campaigns, of course, that are not officially mentioned in the communication of the company, and we decided on our side to do the same. What did you do? First, it was to create a draft of email that can be considered as a phishing email. Second was to create maybe some kind of images. It was also to explore OpenAI GPT-3, especially the DALL-E add-on. And the last step was to automatically generate an email inside Gmail. You can send automatically the email or create a draft, and then after decide to send the email to the people. The next step after of this case is to propose, of course, to receive the feedback when the people click on the link. So it will be, I think, in the next part we have to do that, because still this part there are many additional tasks to do. And so last time I was able to start all those steps one by one, those connectors. So we are inside the tool called Make. It's an automation, like a no-code tool. So maybe Integromat was the former name of this company. And when you are using such a tool, you are connecting basically using API with a UI interface, user interface that is very easy, click and move and click interface. You are able to access to different connectors. You put your authentication information, you give authorization to get access, and you can connect to your private or public, I don't know, Google Sheet document, OpenAI account, Gmail account, Google Docs account, and so on. So I will show you first how I evolved on that and what is the result I get. Let me show you the screen. Okay, so here you can see, in a few seconds maybe, time. So if you remember, we have this interface of the tool called Make. We have something called the scenarios. Scenarios, I'm using just a few of them, and you can see a few information, how many times I have launched the scenario. If you remember, this is a trial version of the tool Make. So as soon as I am not using more than 500 times, running 500 times one scenario, I can still use it. And there is a limitation in the quantity of data. I think it's 500 megabytes. Where does it come from? The data. The data comes from when you read one of the connector. You have some octet, you have some bytes, I mean, that are automatically uploaded inside Make and transferred to another tool. So every time there is a transfer of data, it's counted in your limited amount of data, quota. So this was the one I started to work last time, and I generated 40 megabytes. So most of the time it's text, so it should not be that big. The thing is, every time you are using and you are generating image, the image is taking more space. So if you remember last time, we had already those three connectors. It's called module inside the interface. The modules Google Sheet, if you remember, was able to connect to the RedBook we have created and test the row. One of the issues I met last time was you need to create a new row in order to be automatically detected by the Google Sheet. So if you don't have an additional row by the Google Sheet, even if you change the content of the row, it's not automatically read. And that was one aspect, one bug I had. Second bug I had, so it was just a way to use it properly. The second thing is there are some limitations, as we mentioned, inside the tool. The limitation we had is on the OpenAI side. OpenAI is limited to 1,000 characters as an input. So here, as you can see, the input we can have in OpenAI, there is just, it's written, please maximum put 1,000 characters long. So you have to limit it. And how to limit it? You can filter. So there is a filter here, and you can say the condition, when I receive something from Google Sheet, of course, you can put a limitation inside the Google Sheet. But if for some reason you don't cut the text after 1,000, automatically it will stop. So here what I do is I say if the length of this is the column D, the column D was automatically generated because I had one, if you remember, I had one cell that was asking, for example, an image to be automatically generated. So I asked to ChatGPT, thanks to the API, ChatGPT, if you remember, you can install inside Google Sheet a special plugin that is talking to ChatGPT, or normally it's to GPT-3. Thanks to this API, you can say ChatGPT or GPT-3, please give me a description that I will use for DALL-E. And this description can be, I want an image for proposing an account, a password reset to this user. You ask ChatGPT to provide this DALL-E text, and then after you get the text, and the text can be too long. So you can say if the length of this text, so here you are using some kind of specific attributes. Those attributes can be found here. So it's a kind of coding language, algorithm language. So you can see that yes, if it exists, you can say if empty, or it's called functions. And inside the functions, you can use the item. So the item is, for example, me, when I'm looking inside my Google Sheet, I'm able to see, okay, this text has been extracted from my Google Sheet. I want to say if the size of this text is more than 1,000, I want to continue or not. I can say I don't want to continue, and here, so we can, yeah. So here we say if you are more than 1,000, we will stop it. And the way we make it is we make this kind of join algorithm with the Boolean operator between this first sentence and this second sentence. That's one way to limit the content and to avoid some errors. After that, there is another aspect I already, I think, talked here. Sometimes we can have some issues with the prompt content itself. The prompt you can see here, you can read it as human. You can see, okay, there is some text has been automatically extracted from Google Sheet and it's sent to OpenAI. But sometimes, no, it's not enough. You need to put an additional function here and the function is, I think it's a string, toString, yeah, toString. Thanks to toString, so it depends, the error you will get is the prompt is valid or not. When you have the prompt valid, if a prompt is not valid, it means that even if you seem to have the content, you have to force the answer from the Google Sheet to be a string. Again, it's very similar to what the developers, software developers are doing. That's a few things we need to do if we really want to do automation. We don't have really choice for that. It's not that complex, and for this, I'm discussing with the support. Of course, I cannot really think by myself, so I cannot share my email address with my email communication with the support, but I was discussing to see what we can use, and they say, okay, normally it's in the documentation, somewhere it's not that easy to find it. So here I have to check if the toString was available. In this case, very specific, it was already working, but in my previous case, I had to force with the toString. And when you use the toString, you have after that, like this, you click on the toString, and here you can see there are a few parentheses. You can remove this, and you can go in the toString and say, I want this text. This is how it works, and you can say, okay. So we have learned how to do a filter. We have learned how to change the input values. The last thing was last error I met. When I receive so the image is automatically generated, it must be base64 encoded PNG. You cannot use URL, and it's automatically sent to the Gmail. So in the Gmail, first you have to put the attachment with the file name. So here the file name you can put. I have already put the file name last time, but it was still not working. Why? Because we have to use another function called toBinary. And that will automatically take, it's a kind of Java, let's say, file, it's a JSON file, and this file has to be transformed into something binary because the image in the base64 is the format for that. It's something we have to do when we have to know, and then automatically this will generate the image. You have to say okay for that. So let me show you the final result. When I do this, I made a few tests before succeeding. And this is what you can see at the end. My first messages, I forgot to put the toBinary. That's why I think no, I put in the content directly of the message the image. That doesn't make sense. The image has to be considered as an attachment. If you put it directly in the image, you get this kind of weird symbols. So here, this is a draft, or I am in my archive folder as it was expected. So 3 messages were created, and the only one that was really working well was this image. So it was created by DALL-E first, including from my explanations that were provided inside the prompt that was sent to ChatGPT. And the image is exactly what we are expecting from the AI tools nowadays. It means that it's made by a machine, so it's impossible really to, we can have a photorealistic view, we can have some images that are crazy, wonderful, but as a machine, there is no way to verify if it makes sense for a human or not. So for that, if you want to really to have a full automation process, unfortunately, for the image part, not for the email. For the email, we will see it next time. But for the image, you have to re-edit or do some edit. You have to do some editing with some professional on the image. So the technology is really good, but it's not mature enough to have a full automated generation of images where you can put, for example, a fake credential page. So that was the feedback I wanted to share with you. It's something that can be still improved. There are other connectors. There are some, for example, a tool called Midjourney. So if you want to create a fake image using Midjourney, it's still possible. But from the moment, it's with some basic explanation, that's what we can get. Regarding to the next part of my my test, I'm still working on, as I mentioned. I'm working also every time I see some bugs, and I wanted to share with you the results. I will show you what I will continue for the next time. And this is, this page is being shared. So in the scenario, so I have I have another scenario I made. So I started from the same base. So this time I get more success when I automatically generate it. What I see first is it takes a little time to generate the ChatGPT content on the Google Sheet. So you have to wait a few seconds until the ChatGPT has extracted the information, has generated this answer. It's possible also to connect to a Google Docs that would contain the draft of email that we will use. So why? Because when we send a phishing email, we need to have a draft with a specific form, and ChatGPT is not very good to create something. It can create text, but if you ask him to create text plus, you can have a few head titles. Still, you can put a few styles, but it's not good enough. So to create something like that, we need to have an additional connector. So this is the official documentation that is not about, of course, phishing. It's about how to reuse a template of email, and we can reuse it for our own in a phishing email, and we can fill the content of the phishing email with a database of potential internal employee. So this is something we can do. So ChatGPT will not help us for all the steps. It's just good to create a specific part of this text. So for that, you need to put the information about the employees in a Google Sheet, as you can watch here. And you will see more information about that. So information about the customers, then you can add ChatGPT to write inside the Google Doc a specific paragraph that can be connected to information you have from the person. So that would be my next step for the following session. So if you are interested, I can share in the chat if you want to know more about this. And that's for today for my presentation. So I will just finish by giving you a few additional information, and we can respect the time. So I really believe in the possibility to use ChatGPT for automation. And I think as any kind of so the automation is a language like any other language, so there is a little time to adapt to the language limitations, barriers, and but it really makes sense to continue to use it. I made just a list. Maybe you have already seen this on LinkedIn. As we have already received Shail presentation, many of those extensions have been presented. ChatGPT for search engine is good as soon as you have enough ChatGPT. If you have an account, when you don't have any problem of using ChatGPT with the high traffic. The problem is nowadays so many people are using ChatGPT that you are not able to get the result all the time. So they have just started the ChatGPT Plus for your information. It's $20 USD per month, and you can get access to ChatGPT even when there is a peak of traffic. And ChatGPT for search engine, so it's a small image, a small piece of text that is automatically displayed on all the search engine you are using. We can see the result of your query in the search engine. The internet access, we have already received the explanation for Shail for that. Merlin is interesting, but it's a freemium plugin that can be helpful to use ChatGPT. Like a right click, you can use Control M anywhere to say I want this piece of text and I want to have more information directly in my browser from ChatGPT. You can use Merlin. Prompt Genius, we have already received the information. YouTube summary also same. AI PRM, I really recommend to have a look at it. Fancy GPT is the one you want to have a different, let's say, design of the ChatGPT. And the writer, There are different ChatGPT tool to help us to create some email or to different messages. So I recommend also to have a look on this one. Don't forget to try to join also our LinkedIn group. We are starting to get more and more people, and that will be good to have you here, especially when you don't use WhatsApp. And don't hesitate to connect us if you have some good offensive and defensive prompt that you want to share with us. And you can see some people are really digging a lot to break some of the limitation of ChatGPT. And so if you have already done something that you want to share with our community, please just connect to me or connect to Bart, and we'll be super happy to have you on the next session with all of us. You can still contact me by email or WhatsApp as usual. I'm not 24 hours per day working on that, but still I will do my best to answer, or Bart also is there. That's it for today. If you have any question now, please don't hesitate to join us. If it's the first time you came, we have many other live sessions, and all of them are really good because we have people with always cybersecurity professionals with a different background. So don't hesitate. But if you want also to add a word or Shail, you're welcome.
No, some images. No, I just sent a message to the chat group asking for participating with this biased, non-biased research. So let's see how we can create some activity and some engagement, and to see what we can how we can really use this group. It would be nice.
Sure. And for me, the main interest of the group is really share our best practices will make us better. If we just keep what we do by ourselves, we will not be able to really go deep in the topic. And this topic of ChatGPT it will change everyone's job for sure. It will take maybe 1 or 2, 3 years more, but it will change us. So yeah, we need to be all ready for working, sharing, reading. Shail, if you want to say a word, or if someone wants to ask us from something, please, you're welcome.
Yeah, Julien, thank you very much for creating such sessions. It's really informative. And once we start sharing our knowledge, it just adds on to the existing knowledge of everyone. So thank you very much for the great initiative, Bart and Julien. Thank you very much.
Thank you again for your time. Thank you, Bart, also for yours, and all the other people that are joining us through the private messages, asking, sending us some help, sending us some documents. And next week is totally open for the next live session for the new professionals that wants to share his insights. Have a great day. We will send today, I hope, the recording for the people that wants to check again some details. And let's see next week. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good
Thanks,
weekend.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Nice day.
Hasta luego, gracias.
Oh, wonderful, Maximiliano.